The two latest statements coming out of the Steelers locker room have left fans scratching their heads. First, one of the team's biggest stars gave an unexpected answer when asked about the offense. It wasn't exactly a harsh critique, but it was far from reassuring, and it definitely raised some red flags. Then, on the defensive side, veteran Darius Slay was even more direct in his assessment, despite a win that included 5 forced turnovers. What he said surprised a lot of people and may reveal the true mood inside the building. The fact is, as the team gets ready to head to Ireland, they have more questions than answers. And it all starts with the answer DK Metcalf chose not to give. DK Metcalf had some thoughts, well, kind of, on the Steelers' offense. And let's just say they're raising a few eyebrows in Pittsburgh. When asked about the identity of the offense heading into Week 4, Metcalf gave a very non-committal answer. It's really not for me to say. Now, that's not exactly throwing the team under the bus, but it's definitely not screaming we're all locked in, either. Here's the deal. The Steelers brought in Aaron Rodgers this offseason on a 1-year flyer, hoping the 4-time MVP could breathe life into an offense that's been stuck in neutral for years. So far, it's been more like a sputter than a roar. Sure, Rodgers still flashes that brilliance we've seen for over a decade, but let's not ignore the fact he's 41 and can't carry the entire offense on his back every week. Metcalf, meanwhile, was supposed to be the missing piece in the passing game. A legit number 1 threat with size, speed, and the kind of swagger that gets defenses nervous. He's found the end zone twice, but with just 135 receiving yards in 3 games, you can tell he's itching for more action. And yeah, when he followed up his "not my place to say" with a comment about needing to get our pass catchers involved more, you could practically hear the subtext screaming, "Hey, throw me the damn ball!" Now, this isn't panic mode time just yet. The defense absolutely saved their bacon in Week 3 against New England, forcing 5 turnovers and stopping the bleeding when the offense couldn't get much going. That kind of play isn't sustainable, though, and you can't keep relying on splashy defensive heroics to squeak out wins. With a trip to Ireland coming up and the Vikings defense waiting across the pond, this team needs to start clicking, and fast. The schedule doesn't get any kinder down the stretch, and the longer Pittsburgh goes without figuring out who they are on offense, the more likely they fall short of the postseason picture. Metcalf's comments might not seem like much on the surface, but they're telling. You've got a star wideout not totally sure what the offensive identity is, subtly pointing out that the playmakers aren't being used enough, and you're riding with an aging QB who can't be Superman every week. This team's got talent, but right now it feels like a bunch of puzzle pieces scattered on the table with no clear picture in sight. But if Metcalf's comment raised some eyebrows, what Darius Slay just said about the defense might stir up even more noise in the locker room. Darius Slay isn't here for the participation trophies or overhyped stat sheets. He's keeping it brutally real about the Steelers' defense. Fresh off a wild Week 3 win over the Patriots, where Pittsburgh forced 5 turnovers and notched 5 sacks, you'd think the vibes would be sky high. But not in Slay's corner of the locker room. He's seen too much in his 13 NFL seasons to let one flashy performance cover up what he sees as a bigger issue. Slay hopped on the Richard Sherman podcast this week and basically told the world, let's not pat ourselves on the back just yet. Sure, they made some big plays, but the defense gave up long, clock-eating drives and kept letting New England convert short yardage situations. In Slay's words, they're acting more like a splash defense than a dominant one, relying on hero moments instead of consistency. And he's absolutely right. The Steelers needed every single one of those 5 turnovers, plus a 4th down stop, just to barely sneak past a Patriots team that, let's be honest, is not exactly stacked offensively. That's not a formula that's going to hold up when the competition ramps up. If you're leaking yards all over the place and banking on forced fumbles to bail you out, the losses will pile up fast. Slay's message is clear. Doing the routine things routinely is where the real growth starts. Right now, the defense is still plagued by miscommunication, coverage busts, and some really shaky tackling. They were lucky New England was just as sloppy, bad blocking, bad ball security. But you won't get that kind of gift every Sunday. What's refreshing is that Slay isn't just pointing fingers, he's embracing his role as a veteran voice. He didn't come to Pittsburgh to chill with Mike Tomlin and cash game checks. He's trying to raise the standard. Even if his physical prime might be behind him, his football IQ is as sharp as ever, and that kind of leadership is exactly what the Steelers need in a room full of young defenders trying to find their identity. The coaching staff made some lineup tweaks before Week 3, and they helped slow down the Patriots' run game, but that's just treating the symptoms. Opponents are still feasting in the middle of the field and exploiting mental mistakes. Until those cracks get sealed up, this defense is going to stay in that almost great but not quite category. Now they've got a big test coming up, a trip overseas to take on the Vikings in Ireland. And while Minnesota will be rolling with Carson Wentz at QB due to J.J. McCarthy's injury, Wentz just led his squad to a big win over the Bengals, and he's still got enough savvy to torch a defense that isn't on point. This game could be a huge momentum swing before Pittsburgh heads into their early Week 5 bye. If the offense still looks lost and the defense is living off big plays, fans have every right to demand more. This team needs to find its identity, fast. If you liked the video, hit subscribe so you don't miss any Steelers updates.